Hi, I'm Beverly Goodman, Assistant Managing Editor for Barron's, and I'm here at the Morningstar Investment Conference with Mary Jane McQuillen, co-manager for the ClearBridge Sustainability Leaders Fund. Mary Jane, please tell us a little bit about sustainability and what that means.
Thank you very much for having me. For ClearBridge, sustainability means is the sustainability or the investment attractiveness of the investments that we're seeking to identify for our clients, but it's also the sustainability of the impact those companies or those investments have on society. And we categorize it as E, S, and G, environmental, social, and governance factors. And those are three identifier categories of how we see sustainability within the investment.
So your fund is an all-cap fund, but it tends to gravitate more to the mid and small-sized companies, right? Can you give us some examples of companies that are leaders in this sustainability area?
Sure. So the Sustainability Leaders Fund is an all-cap, and our benchmark is the Russell 3000. So we do have some very large companies, but we do have some medium and small companies. And the medium and small companies are where we see a lot of room for high impact. And that's part of the hurdle for the Sustainability Leaders Fund. It has to be a leader in terms of impact. And so companies that we've invested in are like Trex, for example. Trex, as you may know, is a company that makes composite decking. And the way they find their raw material is from used plastic bottles and wood sawdust. So we're taking a lot of items out of the waste stream, particularly plastic bottles, and they're able to use a proprietary technology to make it into composite decking, which actually can last longer and be more durable than natural wood.
So you're looking at companies that make products that can sort of help the environment, but you also look for companies that employ good practices themselves, right?
So we have another company, it's more of a large cap company called Costco, which you're probably familiar with.
Yes.
And they've been known, and we've spoken to them on a regular basis about their labor practices, about keeping their employees very happy, very productive. What we found is that contrary to what many may think in the retail sector, you don't have to pay below margin or at minimum wage level in order to keep productivity and profitability up. If anything, by paying employees a living wage versus just the minimum wage, state by state, it's helped contribute to a happy employee, a loyal employee, a dedicated employee, and many of the executives at Costco actually rose up their ranks because they've stayed with the company for so long.
Costco's an example of a stock that's done very well for a long time. I think a lot of investors still tend to think of this area as being something you have to sacrifice performance if you want to invest with your goals. What's your reaction to that?
Sure, and that's a common perception because it seems so hard to believe that you can have both, that you can have profitability and meet the principles of what you value in your life and for the future and for your children and for the planet. But what we found is that companies that are quality companies, and we go through a variety of quantitative screens as to what we mean by quality, that they tend to be companies that are very strong on environmental management and stewardship, very strong on how they treat their workers and how they are involved in the community, and very good in their governance practices in terms of transparency and allocating capital back to share owners. And so our experience in our history of 25 years of managing ESG portfolios has been that we can outperform or perform as well as the benchmark. And we compare ourselves to the market benchmark. So a client or an investor should be able to say, do I choose option A, option B? It shouldn't be because one is for principles and one is for profit. They should be able to get both if done properly. And that's what we work very hard on, is through our fundamental process, is to do it in what we consider the proper way.
Thanks very much, Mary Jane McQuillen, ClearBridge Sustainability Leaders Fund.
Thank you.